So since this is just a general session, I didn't come with anything prepared. I thought we could just talk a little bit about if you guys have been seeing or experiencing the error with uploading files. It has popped up. Yesterday, we got our first report of it, and so far we've had a handful. I would say about 6 or 7 webmasters have reported the error. We're still trying to collect information from those users about the error, on which browsers it's happening, or if that even makes a difference, if it's just happening all around for those users. But it isn't, so far hasn't been a universal issue. And we're currently trying to, investigate and find out the cause. So there isn't much information right now on it, unfortunately. But if it is affecting you and you're just not able to get it in at all, reach out to us and we can help, because I can still upload those files, either masquerading as you so that they automatically belong to you, or I can upload them through my own account and then edit who the owner is. So either way, we can get those files into you.
There
Okay,
may
thank
be
you,
a
Jan.
bunch of us who haven't even been using that, so we may
Yeah,
not.
it could be that, yeah, it just hasn't been something you needed to do just yet. But please do test it out if you haven't already. So far from the users that we've heard back from, it seemed like Chrome was like the common denominator, but we don't want to say anything just yet, especially when we haven't heard back from the tech team. But that's why I also say try different browsers and let us know if there's any difference. Thanks, Jan.
Have you tried it yourself?
Myself, yes. I've tried it myself for LeBron and for the demo LWVC demo account that I usually masquerade as. And I haven't been able to reproduce the issue. And so that's why I've been able to offer to upload the files if you can't do it. Since, yeah, we're not, or at least I'm not seeing it on my end. We'll see if any of the tech team sees anything. Any other questions about that? Yeah, it is a very generic error message. And so that's why I, off the top of my head, don't have anything. And so I'm hoping that the tech team can find something definitive about what's going on.
Maurice, it's Lynette. Did you try any other browsers like Edge or anything?
Yeah, so I didn't have any errors myself for LeBron or LWVC-demo. I wasn't able to reproduce the error. But for the users that were experiencing it, I'm not sure of all of the browsers that they've tried. We did hear back from a couple of users, like Jan let us know right now that she had used Chrome and that's where the issue happened. But yeah, I can't recall if in the group message that I sent out, I may have to put a response. Trying different browsers might be helpful, might be useful.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, no, I did make that mention. So I'll be sure to mention that at the end of the meeting, because I just kind of asked which ones are you using, but didn't say anything about try different ones that may produce a different result.
Excuse me.
It only started happening today for me.
Did you, and was today the first time, the earliest time that you uploaded a file since, let's say, the last week or something like that? Or did you try yesterday?
I can't remember if I did anything yesterday, but certainly within the last week, I've done stuff.
Okay. So as early as today.
Would it be helpful if we tried and just let you know?
Yeah, we can do that if we want to just do the testing live. Using whatever file, it seems that the affected users Doesn't matter the file type. It's been, all of them are producing the error. So you can try with an image, a PDF, a document, whatever you have. And with whichever browser, just let me know what the file type and size are, the browser, and then I'm assuming most of you, or tell me the device. I would assume most of you are on desktop, but all of that will be helpful. And I can just jot down what you guys
Should we do one right, each of us on our site right now, so you have more data?
Yeah, we could just do that live, and I can even go through. I wonder, I haven't tried from a different site. I don't think it'll make a difference, but I'll do it as well. So, and we all know that there's two or kind of three different ways to upload a file. You can go through manage files. You can go through the actual content that you want to add the file to. So like whatever page it is, or like your slideshow items and things using the browse buttons. So I'm just going to add it through my home page. Oops. Sorry, I just need to finish my notes. Okay. And let's add it here.
What browser are you using?
I'm using Chrome.
Oh,
So the one, yeah, the one that has been reported as an issue. Let's do this. Donate gifts of stock. It's an image. Let's see, it's a PNG and it is 415 kilobytes. So that's definitely under the limit. And you can use upload or next. Either way, it should get that file uploaded. And then just going through the usual steps. And I'll just save that. Okay.
I just uploaded using Firefox a 218 kilobyte PDF file, no problems.
what
Okay.
browser?
That was on
Firefox.
Firefox.
Not browser, what was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just loaded a
Oh,
Word.
I meant what computer?
Oh yeah, thank you, Liz. I was thinking that too.
I'm on an HP.
Okay.
PC. Yeah.
Okay. And Lynette?
Yeah, I just uploaded a Word doc and on my computer, my Dell PC, and I'm using Chrome, and I did not get an error message.
Okay.
This is Mary Jo, and I know Jennifer Teller was having issues a little while ago, but I don't know if it was the same issue. Maybe not.
I don't think so. Well, if it was the one that was in the Google group, it had to do, and we could probably talk about that too, because that one comes up a lot. It was about inserting links to PDFs when you have them in a list, like one after the other.
Right, but I thought she had done something and she said it wasn't showing up yet, but maybe not. So
Well, that's what I did, but it wasn't showing up because of because I had consecutive links.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, got it.
So we can.
Your tutorial really helped. Thank you.
Yeah.
Nurse.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's worth
But,
talking about again.
I want to ask a question about that, Maurice, because Jennifer shared it with me. And when you were imitating her, or what do you call it, when you were
Masquerading, yeah.
masquerading her, yeah. I could see all the things that she had put in the media library.
Mhm.
But when Mary Jo, looked during this whole thing under my files and then league files, I didn't see those. Should I have seen anything that she put in under league files?
Yes.
Yes. My understanding is yes, because it
Well,
just
I
says,
thought so too, but I did not, I never saw, remember I kept telling you, Jennifer, I couldn't see them, but when I saw the tutorial, there they all were.
And you're talking about this section
Yeah.
here, my leaks files?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So,
I'm not sure. We might compare that because it should be everything that you choose, you know, no, don't display in the media library or just display to me, whatever that line is. That's going to keep it to you and your league webmasters. So you'll see it here and here.
right, that's what I thought. Yeah, okay.
So I did it with Safari on a Mac. It was a JPEG, and I had no trouble. I did it by inserting, using the menu across the text box that inserts an image.
Okay, perfect.
And
Uh,
I did it using, the one that I was successful at was doing add a file, manage files, add a new file. I
Okay.
didn't go through the little thing and mine worked fine.
Yeah, that's how I did it too. Just go into the manage files and add a file.
It seems to be working now. I did it on Firefox and it worked with the very same image that failed before.
Okay, awesome. So worked on. And Jan, could I ask you to retry on Chrome? I'm wondering if it is a thing of,
Sure.
it timed out. But Firefox worked. Same file. And while I'm here, I might as well just double check. I'm going to try uploading a different file. Let's see, I have math jokes. Oh, that is a little too big. It was 4 megabytes. I think this works, the nomination form. Okay, that is definitely small enough. Okay, so that's working as well.
So if I want a nomination form, I could find it, huh? I'm on the nominating committee. I didn't know that there was such a thing as a form.
Well, I think it was created either by the board or the nomination committee for the California League. But I am unfortunately gonna delete it just as a demo.
Oh,
adding it in.
Okay, all right.
Unless you'd like, I could let them know that I'm sharing a copy with you. I'm pretty sure they'll love that.
So I guess it's after you've asked them and they're saying yes, or I'll agree to do it or something like that.
Yeah, I could just send them a quick note because we were chatting earlier this week so that I could upload that form to our main site. But I can ask them if you'd like. Yeah.
That'd be great. Oh, sorry.
Tried with Chrome and it failed.
Okay, it
Oh.
failed. Okay. Thank you, Jan.
What machine was that on?
It's a PC laptop.
Okay, so it may not be a Mac thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if it is dependent on the user or the device. It's like I said, it's like a weak connection to Chrome, just being that I think like 1 to 3 users have at least said that they used Chrome. I don't think that any other browsers were reported. What was that, Jen?
Now I know I can get around it with Firefox, so I'll just upload things.
Wow. That's so funny because, there's at least 2 things that I have to use Chrome on.
And that's really weird. I'm on Chrome and a PC and it worked for me.
Oh,
Yeah, like I said, I'm not sure. I feel like it is maybe dependent on the user, but it's very much a big guess on my part. But yeah, at least thank you, Jen. That'll let me know to get back. I can get back to users directly that have reported it and let them know. There's some good evidence that trying a different browser may work. Okay, so we were able to talk about that some. Does anybody have any questions that they came with? We can dive into questions at this point.
I had a question about members only. So as you know, thank you, we have everybody, enrolled or whatever. So I asked one of the members, I said, have you gone onto the page yet? And she goes, well, no. And so I says, well, I know that you're a member, and I gave her, I looked up her member name,
Mhm.
her username. And she said, because she couldn't remember her password. So I says, well, try it, see what happens. And she said something about, she tried to ask for the password and it didn't recognize her username. But when I went in to my account, I don't think I had to give my username. I think it was my email, but now I can't remember for sure. But anyways, so long story. So if somebody forgets their password, what should they do?
Okay, so let's say, and this is at the point of they're trying to log in and they don't remember it.
Yeah, and I don't know that she's frankly ever logged in.
Okay, so I'm going to log myself out, and if you are at the point here, let's say you haven't even tried to sign in yet, you can go
Yeah.
first to forgot password. If she does that, it's going to ask for the username or the email address. And then the CAPTCHA, it's a simple just checkbox. If I go back and I attempt to sign in, and let's say I have my password incorrect, when I click login, okay, no, it doesn't take me anywhere else, but it does give me another chance to click, have you forgotten your password? So they're going to want to click on either the forgot password up here in the toolbar, or in the header, the login bar, or if they've logged in and it failed, then this red bar is going to pop up and it'll have a link again for have you forgotten your password.
Maybe she didn't see that because it's a little hard to see. I have no idea. So what's the best practice?
This one up here is the easiest. Forgot password, that's always going to be there if they're not logged in. So this one over in the top right corner.
So register, they're already registered.
Yeah, if they
so
click,
they won't see that.
They're going to see both because they're not logged in. So if you're not a logged in user, the system can't recognize who you are. So if they accidentally clicked register, they're going to have these two buttons. I have an account. I want to create an account. Just let them know to click on I have an account. And let's see. Yeah, from here, I don't think they're going to get anywhere.
Okay. All right, so let's go back to where the opening page.
Request new password is there. So yeah, forgot password is the #1 recommended way. And then if they accidentally click through to register, then they still have down here, request new password. So in case they go past the forget pass, whoops, sorry about that. In case they go past the forgot password, link, then they'll still have chances to click to say, I've forgotten my password.
Well, I'm trying to think. So if a person's going in for the first time, it's going to look like, so Alabron, that's your username.
And that's only because my browser remembers my username. So
yeah,
if they're coming in for the very first time, this is what they're saying.
Username or email. That's because I've got email on mine and I thought it was username. Okay. So it says right there. And okay, so on the chance they don't know their username, well,
if they don't know their username.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm not gonna, they can use their email. They wouldn't have that many or more than one probably. Okay, so they put their username and then they'll see password. Oh, I don't remember the password. And then they'll click forgot password. Okay.
And then, yeah, if they were again to accidentally click log in without filling it out completely, then the red bar pops up and that's another chance for them to click that they've forgotten their password.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yes. And sorry, it didn't come up because I didn't have anything filled in, but yeah, we've, yes, no problem. I saw someone's hand up quickly. I think it was Lindsay.
Yeah, hello, Amari.
Hi, welcome into office hours.
Thank you. So I had a question about the purple and gold theme specifically, where it has those two large join and donate buttons side by side.
Mhm.
For our site, when I click either join or donate, the path automatically redirects to the home page. Can you show me like maybe step by step how I can change that path?
Yes. So for those buttons and for like for the purple and gold buttons, I mean theme, for the purple and gold theme, we have the join and donate buttons. And then the red and blue theme, we have this, just the red donate button. For all of these buttons, you are going to follow, sorry, I'm trying to figure out how best to get to my other sites. There we go. The way that you control those buttons is through the destination of them. So, sorry. So instead of being able to say, these buttons should go to, you know, your representatives page, just as an example. We're not able to dictate it that way. We're able to say, if I want people to see the content, whoops, sorry, I don't actually have a link on that page. Let's use the articles. If I wanted to say that every time somebody clicks the donate button, it should reach the, let's say the live presentation article here, then I would have to change the title of this to the word donate. It's a little backwards working rather than going to the button and telling it where it should go. We're telling the content, or we're renaming the content so that the button knows it should go there. So let's just use this article as an example. Right now I have the donate button reaching a page. It's always going to lead to my.lwv.org/your state/your league name/donate. So that's the makeup of it. And you'll see that right now mine is reaching my homepage because technically I don't have a donate page set up. So what I'm going to do is, instead of, and sorry, it's a little bit jumbled up. Let me actually get the donate page to connect. Sorry, I'm going to quickly unmasquerade because all of you are probably working with an existing donate page. If you're wanting to have it point somewhere else, you're going to have to first make changes to the existing page. So I'm just going to make sure that, there we go, I have something. There we go. I just needed to reset the URL. So that should show up now as my donate page. Okay, so I'm just going to go back home just so that we can see it's actually going to move to the donate page now. So this is going to, for my page right now, it's going to my.lwv.org/Colorado/demo-local/donate. So I don't want this page showing up anymore. I could just change it directly, but I have this article that I'm ready to post as my donate page. You can use any article or content type to be, you know, the destination of your buttons. So the first thing I need to do is change the existing donate page's title. So the word donate is what triggers the URL to end with the word donate. they're matching up. So as long as I change the title to anything but the word donate, then I can move forward. So I can add a word, I can change the word, I can remove some letters, whatever it is to change it so that it is not the exact word donate. So I'm just going to add a word and simply add old. I'm going to jump to the bottom. And what we want to do before we save is publish. This is going to push through the change in the URL that we need. By doing that, the URL that ends with /donate, as soon as we publish this change, that URL is going to be freed up. And that's what we're looking for. So I publish this and save. And now we see at the top that the URL is matching up with the title. So now donate /old or -old is the new URL. And if I click on the donate button, well, it still brings us here. But what we need to do first is change the URL here, or I'm sorry, the title, because then that will change the URL. So that's the second part of it, and technically the last part of it. So changing the title to the word donate, and I'm going to jump to the bottom again. And again, I'm publishing that. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm going to go back to the home page. And when I click on donate, oh no, we're unfortunately seeing it's still connected.
Maybe you need to clear your cache.
Let me double check that a redirect didn't get added.
But she basically is going to the home page because she doesn't have a donate page.
Right. Yeah, that's the reason
Right.
for it landing on the home page. If the
Right.
URL doesn't exist, it by default lands on your home page.
So to solve her problem, she only needs to do is make a donate page.
True. Yeah. So you just need the second half.
She doesn't have to do all that you're doing because she never had a donate page. Right?
Correct. Yes,
So-
if
so
it's
this
not
is
landing
making-
anywhere.
This is making it a little more complicated to answer her question because unfortunately, you already had a donate page, which she does not have to deal with.
Right. So if you are just dealing with, and we might be able to recreate it with the join, and it's the same thing, whether it's donate or join, the same exact steps are taken. You're just switching the word donate for the word join. Let's see if I can try it for the other one.
What if I do have a donate and join page?
So then if you do have an existing one, follow the steps that I just did. You'll first have to change the title.
Change the title? Okay.
And then for the new one, change it to donate or join, whichever one it is.
Okay.
And let me go ahead and try it again. I don't know why it recreated or it created a redirect for me. And if that happens where you do click on the button and you're expecting it to be the new page and the old page still shows up, let me know, because then I might need to jump in. But let's try it again. I have an existing join page. Let's use, I'm not sure what I want to use. Let's use my action and advocacy page. I don't know which. No, let's use my voting page. Sorry, this demo local menu is all out of whack because I use it to demo people's top menus when they want to move to a top menu. So it's a little messy. We're going to use this voting page as the new join page. So first, I am going to edit the draft or start a new draft, whatever you have going on. Let's just, I'm going to put the word old in the front. Again, it's not going to matter how you rename it. And I'm going to jump to the bottom and publish. All right, so that changed my title and my URL. And now I have the voting page, and I'll change that title to join. Oops. Okay. Oops. And we'll publish that as well. Okay. Sorry, this one this one is not working, unfortunately. It looks like I tampered with the URL previously. But these are definitely the steps to take. My example pages are just not the best to be used.
Yeah, but you did make the join go to voting.
Right, but it unfortunately didn't change my URL because I have this URL set for this page. So that's why I'm saying it's not the best example page, but the steps that I just took, those are the steps you're going to want to take.
Thank you.
Definitely.
I have a question about if you look at your calendar and then you click on at the end the past events or whatever it is, the order of those always seems so bizarre to me. How do you get, I wanted them to be the most recent thing and then all the way down to the least recent, so that I could pick out something that we just had, but it's no longer on the calendar because the date has passed. But the order always seems so bizarre to me.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it's dictated by. I can check in with our team to see more about that. Calendar archive order.
Might be the same problem that I was noticing when you looked at the state subscriptions too.
Did you notice, so in case anybody, wait, that was the articles. I think Jan was the only one to have reported it, but it seemed to have affected all who were subscribed to California's articles. When it came to the subscribed articles list, California, our league is usually posting something in our blog every month, if not more than once a month. So Jan had noticed that we were only receiving, I think like from September of last year, and then it jumped to March or something like that. It was, for some reason, some of the filters that were applied were not necessary. So I don't know if it's related to that, but we can definitely find out about the archive order for the calendar.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else with the question?
Well, it's Mary Jo again. So, can I underline in an article? I didn't see where I could.
With the WYSIWYG toolbar, it's not an option.
Okay.
Only links are underlined when
Right.
it comes to the WYSIWYG.
How about when I'm creating something in the summary? Can I use any symbols? What I was trying to do, it was connected with what Jennifer was working with you, and I wanted to, we had two different ideas, and the only way I could figure out to have it look properly, it's on the members only page, and I'm a little confused about how that works, but the content. But I wanted to put, because I've been using the little diamonds in between, ideas. It doesn't look like you can do any of those things like you can in the regular article part, in the summary part. You're pretty restricted.
Right, the summary section. So if I start a new draft of, I think this is just a regular page, we have the description or the body, and then the summary. The summary doesn't have the WYSIWYG toolbar. It's just plain text.
Yeah,
So
that's
if
what I
you,
just want to confirm. Yeah.
yeah, if you want to add some formatting to the summary, what you can do is add your text into one of the boxes below. Typically it's easier if you add a brand new paragraph box. We've talked about this before. So let me add my text.
And then just copy and paste.
More here. Yeah, and I'm just gonna make some
Okay.
stuff bold, make some stuff italicized. And if I, and actually instead of copying or cutting from this, I need to first see the HTML side of it. So I can either click disable rich text or full HTML or plain text, really any of those, so that you can see the carets and the formatting and all the HTML tags. And so now I can cut and paste this into here. So paste as regular or paste as plain text, it doesn't matter. Your HTML text come along,
Oh,
and this formatted text box, I could just leave it there because it's not going to take up any extra space. And once I publish that and save, it's going to spit me back out to where I started on the members only page. And now we see that that's the summary instead. So that's the easiest way to add formatted text into the summary so that you don't have to fidget with typing in HTML tags yourself.
okay. So what you're saying is go somewhere else and work with
Yeah,
and then get HTML, go, and then but you're just copying and pasting HTML.
exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then with your other question about like making separations, yeah, within the WYSIWYG toolbar, adding the diamonds is probably the easiest way. I think that's through the symbols. You can add a special character, and yeah, I've seen leagues use any of these symbols, and I don't know, they typically use at least a couple of them, and then you can just center them, and that's usually helpful. Add as many as you want. I would just advise maybe not filling the entire line, just so that you're mindful of mobile users, because then it'll spill into multiple lines. But yeah, that's probably the easiest visual division that you can add. The other way would be using HTML. You'd have to add in HTML to add a horizontal line.
Thank you.
Yeah. Or even it just occurred to me, you could even have an image of a horizontal line, but I think this is easier, adding in the diamonds.
Yes, thank you.
Any other questions?
Sometimes oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Liz. I had a question, but I have, it's been a request from our membership director, and I have not done any research on how to do this yet. So if it's more appropriate that I go off and do that, I'm happy to do that. But the way that we currently have our join button set up is the join button asks you to, which level do you want to have your membership? And there's some preamble and everything. And then you click on what type of membership, and then it immediately takes you off to PayPal to pay for it, and then they get a nice note that says thank you for joining the league. Through PayPal, I don't think that I wasn't able to find a way for the new member to leave their phone number. So what we get is first name, last name, and email address, and then whatever, and then we don't get a street address. So, and my membership director wants to, of course, reach out to the new members via phone call. So she would like to somehow get the phone number. And I'm wondering, do you do that through PayPal, or do you do that through changing the join page so it has kind of more of a collection, the information collection, because she also wants to know people's interests and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be easier to do that through your MyLO form. I don't think that the PayPal form is that flexible, unless you're, actually working with a developer or, changing the code directly. So let's pop over to it Okay, sorry. And Liz, remind me of that. You'll be the next. I saw your message in the chat right now. So
Thank you.
definitely. Which form is it, Lynette?
It's under join.
Okay.
Well, that's where we don't have the form, but I've heard from you ladies that you guys have yours set up a little differently. So this is all I have on the join page. So you just go right into your membership levels, and then you click there and join, and then you go off to PayPal. So I don't have any form inserted in there to collect other information, and I think most of you do. So how do you do that?
We have it that way. I just double checked because I know we get that information. So we end up getting 2 notifications, one with all of people's information, and then the other, their PayPal.
Okay, so I guess our new membership director would, because our old membership director likes to call people or would email and then call people to talk to them about what their interests were. But the new membership director just wants the new person to fill in a form and have.
That's what you're seeing on the screen now.
Okay.
So
We do that too.
where you have the form and then the payment.
Yeah, it's a 2-step process.
So this is the Dearborn Heights join form. Like they said, this is the online form, and then once they continue to pay, this is what they see.
That goes to PayPal, or?
It's the confirmation page. So they'll be asked to pay via PayPal before they can, complete their application.
Okay.
So if that was what you wanted to do, and Lindsay, please remind me to come back to this point, because I didn't say the third or the alternative step option would be to work with us for setting the title for your join or donate pages. But coming back to your page, Lynette, if you did want to add questions first, like form questions, the payment itself would have to be taken off of this page and added to the confirmation page. And then to start adding questions, you'd go over to your web form. And typically, like the most basic information that you're collecting, you're going to mostly be using the text field. Even for phone numbers, we do have a number type, but text field is definitely really easy to use, especially if people are using separators between their phone number. I don't know if you want me to add any right now. I can play around with our demo site instead so that we can show how to add some form components if that's what you wanted to see, Lynette.
Oh, you can go ahead and play around there. I mean, I just that would be fine if that's easier. If it's easier to go to demo, that's fine.
Well, we'll see what it comes out looking like. I'll add first just one for phone number, and you can add it simply. I always just add a little colon or a separator. You can make it required here or on the next page, but we want to go ahead and add. The first part, the description is going to appear under the field. So the field itself is, the box that the person is entering into. The title above it is known as the label, and then this is the description underneath the field. So whatever we add here, and we can change that at any time. So here we can make it required if we needed. Unique would reject any other copy of the same response. And then all these others, I'm going to just go ahead and skip. They all have a description underneath them. So if you needed those, you definitely could. But the next part that, well, actually, I'm going to go ahead and just save it. So yeah, as I said, they all have a description underneath. It's really optional if you want to use any of those, but we can go ahead and save the component as it is. And so now I have my first question, my first form component, and know that each time you make changes to these form components or you add new ones or delete them, it happens immediately. The changes are published immediately. So there isn't a draft versus published when it comes to your form components. So I'm going to come back to view the published version, and it looks like, yeah, our form starts at the bottom just because all of the body, I'm assuming all of this text is in the body.
Yes.
All of the body appears above what is going to be the form. When it comes to pages and events, those you can add a web form to. If this is specifically a web form where in the administrator league site menu, let me go ahead and open that. Let's see. There's a specific content type for web form. So this one here, whoops, crossed it out instead. But this one here, add web form, it makes one difference between adding a web form to a page or an event versus adding a web form to a web form. And sorry, it's a little confusing because we talk about web form as in the form that gets added to the bottom of your page versus this is the web form content type, that one there. So you can tell if what your content is because at the top, it's always going to tell you what type it is. It says edit, and then it tells you what that content type is. So this is a page. It's not going to have the difference in what I was trying to show. So let me go ahead and add a web form and show you that there's the differences in the description. That's the same as the body. So that's the same. They appear at the same place right under the title of the page and above the actual form. Body with embed code, we see that over here as well. And that's the same, it behaves the same as the body. It's going to appear near the top of the page. But then we get here, content below form. That is not available here on the page. It goes straight to attachments. So that's one big difference with the web form content type. It allows you to add additional content under your submit button. It could say thank you. It could have whatever. You could have a web form in the middle of the page or have the form appear at the top of the page where you leave the description and body with embed code sections completely empty. And then you start adding whatever content to the content below form sections here. If you did that, then your form would display at the top of your page. So you can manipulate it a little bit more as far as the placement of your form when you're working with a web form specifically. But again, you have pretty much all of the same abilities when you're working with a page or an event and you want to add a web form. That's the main difference. The content below form is not offered on a page or an event.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
And then would you rename that web form join so your join button goes straight to it?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would be the same like switcheroo where you're renaming the old one to something else and then that web form would be join to take over. Whoops. And then I also just wanted to point out then if you are going to continue, if you are going to continue building on the web form, as we pointed out, the PayPal button does need to get moved. So just, cut it from where it is in the draft or where it is in the body. And you're going to come over to form settings. And here in the confirmation message is where you'll want to add it in. You'll want to add it in as full HTML, but you may want to say, final step or whatever it is, but, type out the stuff you want. And then once you're ready, plop in your payment button.
Okay. And so how did you, what were the 2 clicks that you did to do that? That was
if I'm on the main page, the join or renew, I clicked on web form, then form settings.
Okay.
Yeah, and by default, that's your confirmation message is listed on your confirmation page where your customer person filling out the form is going to be taken. Let's see what else. There's a progress bar that automatically gets enabled. You can disable it by unchecking the box. And then the preview page, pretty self-explanatory if you wanted folks to see their submission before they actually submit it. And then the advanced settings, I wanted to show off. You can change the submit button label here. If you leave it blank, which by default it always is, the default label for the button is submit. You can change it to whatever you want it to read. Like I think Dearborn Heights has continue to pay instead of submit. And then just save your configuration. Any questions about the form?
No, that's hugely helpful. Thank you, Anne-Marie.
Awesome. And then Lindsay, I wanted to point out, so the workarounds or the switcheroos that we push for where you're trying to replace an old donate or join page with something new. We recommend switching the titles so that your the expected behavior between the title and the page URL remains. So we encourage that so that that behavior can still be expected. What we can offer and what we do offer in the documentation related to this, switcheroo, we say that, if for all cases we can consider changing and force setting the URL of your page so that the expected behavior, the relationship between the title and your URL, that would be severed. Meaning that any time that you change, let's say that Lynette changed this to join now, the URL is still going to remain /join. We've made it so when it comes to her needing a new page, let's say they've created a brand new join page and they want to use that one instead of this join or renew page, they'll have to come to us to break the force set that we had put in place. And either we reinstate the expected behavior between the title and the URL, or we have a new page or new URL that's being force set. So does that, I'm hoping I didn't confuse people more than more than explain.
I'm just glad that Dearborn's already done because
It's confusing because you just don't do very many of these. It's
right.
it is like a one and done kind of thing.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't happen often. And so, yeah, that might be a reason to consider changing it, for that reason, us just setting it up that way, so that this specific page is always going to lead to join or renew. Or I'm sorry, is always going to have the URL, /join. It's always going to end with that. So that if you did need to change your content, rather than adding a new page, you could change it right on the page itself. But that is all in the documentation. Let's see, destination of buttons in header. Oh, I forgot to put MyLO. So this is the documentation. So yeah, I'm going to just drop this in the chat.
Oh,
Any other questions?
Maurice, it's Mary Jo. You mentioned you were working with, I think you said with some leagues on the top menu. Do you find that some leagues that had the side menu are now deciding to have the top menu, or is one more popular than the other?
The majority of our sites are using the side menu. We regularly see folks wanting the top menu, and that's just either because they've just come to find out about it, or they're new leadership and they want it. I've never really asked, but we see that there's still some desire for it, that because we get regular asks, at least every couple of months, a league is popping up asking for it.
we have a young person who does our social media, and she felt that it looks more modern than the side menu. So we deferred to her because we like young people's opinions.
Yeah, that was the case with our league too. And the colors match what the National League is
Yeah.
doing now with all the purple that they use. So it looks a little bit more color coordinated.
Yeah, it definitely complements their site for sure.
Is there a limit to how many buttons you can have on the top?
The limit is dependent on just the overall menu length. Because let me actually go to the demo site. Yeah, so it depends on just how many characters you have per menu link. It depends on if some of them have child links, because then that menu link itself will become a little bit longer. Even just with the Clackamas County menu here, you'll see that About has child links. So it has this little caret at the end, and it makes it just a little bit longer. So what we often tell leagues when they're first requesting the switch to the purple and gold site, you'll see that I have a bunch of links here. What I typically try to do as the first step when leagues are first requesting, I go and look at their site. I go and look at their menu. And if it's really long, or if it's really long down the page because they're starting out with the side menu, or each menu link is just really, really long, that's going to let me know if the menu is going to extend beyond one horizontal line. And we want to avoid that. So then my next step is usually to recreate their menu on this demo local site. Pretty much just copying every link that they have as far as how it's titled, and then copying if they have child links. So I think the last league to request was a league in South Carolina. So I recreated, this is their menu hierarchy. It's laid out in a similar fashion, and in that South Carolina menu, they have child links under About and under Issues. So I just recreated that as well. So I went back to them and let them know, this is what your current menu would look like. It's too long. And I let them know to try to rearrange them. Maybe action alerts can be a child under action and advocacy, or the other way around. Or voting and elections can just be voting. Any way to try to save space, we're making those recommendations. So it is on the webmaster to keep an eye on how long the menu is. But we provide some help on that front when it comes to first changing to it.
It takes a bit of time. It's a real reorganization, I think, to really get it to look good. And, everybody has a different way of viewing things, and some people could find it more easily one way, and others would find it just the way they wanted it. It's human interface, and it's not an easy task, really. I had a spreadsheet where I kept track of all the different items, and I manipulated them till I came to what I finalized and then asked for. Do you think
Well-
we could go over to my question about that website? It's I think it's a very rudimentary thing that I just don't know how to do. It's in the chat, the
Oh,
URL.
yeah, yeah. And I just wanted to make sure, Mary Jo, did you have a,
Well, I
follow-up?
thought you said that you told leagues that they could only have one line, but in your example, you've got 2 lines. Is that an example of what not to do, or?
Right, so this was the initial menu from that league.
Okay.
And I let them know it's too long,
Okay.
this is what it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even technically you couldn't do that. It's not just aesthetics, it's also technically, it's just too much information.
So yeah, and
Don't like it.
the number one thing is that it is not accessible. Specifically for like low vision or no vision users, the
Okay.
overlapping makes it difficult for screen readers to access. So we just
Okay.
want to
Thank
make
you.
sure, make sure that there's no interference with the accessibility.
Thank you.
Okay, so Liz, I'm opening up what you were referring to. So go ahead and talk us through.
Scroll a little more, please.
Okay.
This is really rudimentary, but oh, see this guy?
Mhm.
I have him the image embedded on the left. But
Mhm.
why I don't know what I do differently, but in a lot of my other pages, it's not flush against his picture. There's a little space there. What have I forgotten how to do?
There's 2 different options. I think you might have used left justify, and then there's also the option of float image left. And I think that one gives a little bit of padding in between. Whoops.
I thought I did float image left, but you're welcome to screw around with it.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and masquerade as you and jump in there.
I didn't have a lot of time to mess with it. I just wanted to get it up. So,
Looks like a good presentation.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
well, we're hoping.
can we join you?
We have the Zoom link.
All you have to do is register.
Okay, so
Oh, it says left justify.
and we'll just remove that. So I selected the image just by clicking on it, remove the left justify, and we'll float it. There we go.
I knew it was something
Nice.
simple. Thank you.
Definitely. And I'll go ahead and save it since I'm in here.
Yeah, thank you.
Definitely.
But you can see my menu across using the upper menu as an example. It all fits, but I had to do a lot of messing around to make it happen and reorganization. Some of these things were in a different place in the menu when we had it on the left.
Probably not just reorganization, but then like rethinking of, what you're going to label everything, right?
Right.
Yeah, it definitely takes some reworking if your menu isn't already pretty condensed, as far as switching to the top.
I just saw something I forgot to update.
Well, I'm glad we were on here.
Yeah. When you're so focused on some task you're doing, you forget to look at it and say, ooh. With this presentation, though, a lot of things can change between now and when he gives it. Wouldn't it be wonderful if there was a peace agreement?
Oh, wow.
Amherst, why is there no join button on the red page compared to you said on the purple page there was?
It really is just because of the red and blue theme came first. And so it started out with just the donate button. The purple and gold theme came years later. And I think not only because of that just that they weren't made around the same time, but also the design of the button, the donate button. We have considered adding a join button, but you're actually reminding me of where we left off on that. I'm not entirely sure.
I was tasked with putting one on our Hudson site and I have not done it yet. So if it was possible, that'd be great.
Yeah, I will check in on that. And in the meantime, I can show off, because I've seen leagues with a workaround. Let's see if I can pull up the one I saw today. We have existing images for a join button and a renew button. So we might be able to find those. Let me go ahead and recreate it on my demo site. I'm going to add a join button that I don't yet have. So I want to go to my sidebar content.
I think I'm dragging my feet because I really don't want a join button. And especially when you have all three of those buttons, it's just really messy. I'd rather they go to the word join and get the web page where you were talking earlier. I think it's just too much in your face.
You might, you know, get them with something else, like maybe a slideshow item, or maybe promoting the join page to the front page if you don't have that already. You know, additional places for them to click to it. Yeah, I definitely get you on adding a join button, and especially in this style, they're already, the donate button is quite big. And if you're trying to recreate the same style, it's pushing down the rest of your sidebar content pretty
It's too
low.
much. I think the committee has different ideas, but I don't like it. So that's why I'm procrastinating, I guess.
You can look at buttons. There's apps on the internet for making buttons, and you can make them smaller in different colors and put your own writing on them.
Ooh, well, that's good to know. Jen, do you know of the website names?
I don't read. You have to look it up, but we made our own button. It just says join or renew, and it's below the donate button.
Oh, I like that idea better.
Quite a lot smaller.
Let me go ahead and show that off. It's Orange Coast, correct?
Uh-huh.
Do people get a lot of money from that donate button?
I'm not entirely sure. Leagues would have to look through their analytics to the donate page and like compare it to what they're receiving through their payment processor. Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that too.
And
If you look at the behind the scenes of that, maybe it says where it came from.
yeah, and I'm actually, before I do that, I'm going to see if I can search for it. So in my sidebar, I'm just going to add a break so I can swap to WYSIWYG. Whoops. So I want to add the image. Let's see if it might come up with join or renew or something like that. So I'm going to narrow down my search to images. Let's see. Those are not the ones we want. Oh,
Lots of copies of vacancies.
Sounds like something I was
a lot of
looking at.
copies.
Oops.
No, this is looking like our state league. So from the California League. So I wonder if it has anything to do with our automated importer. But we see that the join starts to come up, and now we're getting additional buttons. But as Jan was saying, so you know, we have a bunch of different options, but it's not the exact join or renew button that Jan is using on her site. If we go back, we can right click on the image or the button, and we can open image in new tab. This is going to tell us the name. So this portion before the .png or whatever type of file it is, it would be the name of the file. So button underscore join dash or dash renew, which is also the name of the tab. So that's the name of the file that you're looking for. So I'm just going to copy this. and I copied the .png, but just remember to get rid of that if you did as well. So remove .png and let's apply. Let's try maybe button underscore. I'm not sure why it's not coming up. We have other buttons. Let's see. Maybe it was applied without confirmation.
I did it pretty early, so before probably we were.
Oh, okay, that might be the reason why. Okay, so yeah, it never hurts to change this permission as well, or this field. As Jan said, if things were uploaded before, I think it was maybe 2019, maybe a little bit before that. But if you added files before that time, then your permission is not confirmed. It's not a horrible thing. It just helps so that we know which files we can share, that we have permission to share online. But when it comes to, buttons like this, you're not going to get into some trouble using an image that has not confirmed its permission, if that makes sense. So I can go ahead and drop in the button or the image of the button. And then my last step would be just to link it to my page. So I can use this linking tool, which I would have to type in or paste in the URL, or I can use this link it tool, the link to content. And this one is pretty cool. I do have to zoom out a little bit. When I zoom out down here, I have this list. So at the top, I have, a search. I can put the title, I can put the type of content and then hit apply. Or I could just look through and rifle through the pages using the little page number system. And once I click on or find the page I want, when I click on that, it automatically fills in the node, which is another way of identifying it by another URL. So it's the node ID, and once I click insert link, I do have to go back. Now we are confirmed to have an active link because those two buttons are highlighted as they are. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. I do have to swap back to full HTML because I have that widget. But other than that, you can just go straight to publish and save. Oh, and one last step that I didn't take, just to make it look nice, centering the things that are in your sidebar, just so that they are even with the donate button, because the donate button is centered. But we'll see that the link is taking us there. Yeah, so that's one way of doing it. If your league won't budge, Barbara.
I really like that. Yeah.
Awesome.